Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger and my friends. In today's video, we're talking about the future of the Street Fighter franchise. So the big Street Fighter V fall update happened, which was very much focused on Luke, the latest and final newcomer to the Street Fighter V franchise. During this stream, Luke was covered in some depth, and we'll be talking about some of the gameplay ramifications. But one of the big things about Luke when he was originally announced was, well, his importance. Not so much to Street Fighter V itself, but to the future of the franchise, specifically Street Fighter VI. And not too long ago, we actually had news about Street Fighter VI in that parts of Street Fighter V finally take place after Street Fighter III. Therefore, Street Fighter VI will be the new endpoint in the Street Fighter timeline. During the course of this stream, they were not shy about, well, saying this is effectively the end of Street Fighter V, but yet there is indeed more coming. Specifically outing Luke as an important character who will be featured in the next Street Fighter project, aka Street Fighter VI. Talking about the seasonal update streams, and they've been truly great. You know, this is the final Street Fighter V digital showcase. This is the final seasonal update stream. There will be no more Street Fighter V seasonal update streams, but that's not the end of the streams. I do appreciate the candor saying Street Fighter V has been a project with peaks and valleys, ups and downs, as it were. That's putting it lightly, but Street Fighter V definitely ended on a great place. Also being not subtle at all here, saying as far as the showcases go, this is it for Street Fighter V, but it's more of a see you soon rather than a goodbye. Look forward to more information next year, and well, what's next year exactly? Early next year will be the next rendition of the Capcom Cup. So obviously EVO and stuff, big tournaments, but the Capcom Cup is specifically only for Capcom, right? Only for Street Fighter. And the 8th annual Capcom Cup is going down. And not to beat around the bush, this is where you can expect to see Street Fighter VI. So February 2022, we don't have an exact date just yet, but this is definitely where you can expect to see the world premiere of Street Fighter VI. Basically, Street Fighter VI coming in a similar way to the way Street Fighter V came in. One final big tournament for the game that's on its way out, and now a big reveal for the game that's going to be taking its place. Now, as for any specifics of Street Fighter VI, we don't really have much in the way of details yet, other than there's been some issues, COVID and other stuff, and it was kind of supposed to be out by now already, but, you know, it got delayed for a lot of the best reasons, let's put it that way, so now is the time. Though that said, Luke perhaps has a good hint where things are going. So the stream opens with a little bit of a story prologue for Luke. So a very young Luke and his father, and something bad's happening, although it's not quite stated what, but Luke's father apparently saves just about everybody, and he's an aspirational figure, and Luke wants to be just like him. Now, who is Luke's dad? Ooh, you can speculate whatever you want, right? Is he Captain Commando? I don't think so, but hey, stranger things have happened. We know Luke will be very important to the plot, whatever Street Fighter VI plot may be, but his gameplay, what he's bringing to Street Fighter V, is a lot of unique stuff. So his V-Skill 2, for example, is a parry for throws. So it's not just that it's invincible against throws, it specifically has a stop effect on throws only. It's not like they just go through, right? So it is effectively a throw parry. And this is a mechanic no one really has in Street Fighter V. This is definitely a unique thing. Street Fighter V, especially early on in the game's life, was definitely a very anti-fireball game. Definitely not a very anti-throw game. If you played earlier in the game's life, you might remember throw loops and all that kind of stuff, right? Throws were definitely encouraged in Street Fighter V, but now we have a dedicated anti-throw V-Skill mechanic, and it's all unique to him, and that's hardly the only thing where he gets to break the traditional rules of the game. So Luke has a V-Trigger 1 and 2, just like everyone, so that part's not different. But how he uses them is different because, unlike every other character in the game that has a bar-based one, his actually regenerates over time. And the more he hits the enemy, it goes up. And if he himself gets hit, it goes down. But long story short, if you don't hit him, he will never ever leave V-trigger unless he either expends it all or you hit him out of it. He will continue to gain and gain and gain. And one of the triggers helps his zoning, right? So he has exactly zero incentive to ever go forward to you, because just by being passive, he's gaining more and more V-trigger. This is completely at odds with every other character in the history of the game over all these years. Doubly so because if he does go on the offensive, if you are passive and you block a lot, he can go from almost empty V-trigger to regaining the entire V-trigger and getting all those powerful attacks back. So perhaps this itself is a hint of what is to come in Street Fighter 6. It's a little bit of a tug of war, if you will, on a resource. As the more he's offensive with it, the more he regains it, or at the very least, if he's passive and not challenged, he regains meter. The only way to stop the character from having the meter is for you to get in there and basically beat it out of him. This reminds me of one of the core concepts of Street Fighter 4 versus Street Fighter 5. In, say, Street Fighter 4, if I had a significant health lead, I had no incentive to go at you, right? In Street Fighter 5, though, especially in earlier seasons, that could be a death sentence, right? Because you can't risk letting the enemy gain ground with one of the crazier V-triggers. And this rewards exactly that. So if I want to play passive, go back, I am rewarded. I just regain meter. I have no incentive now, again, to challenge you, really. I can hold back with either V-Trigger 1 or V-Trigger 2 because they both work the same way for him. That's definitely one of the things I felt was missing in Street Fighter 5. Got better over the years, but to me, Street Fighter is the franchise of all the fighting games that should be like a good 50-50, right? 50% offense, 50% defense. Street Fighter 4 definitely was a lot closer to that. Street Fighter 5, especially at launch in the first couple years, was horrifically skewed towards offense. Defense almost didn't exist in the first couple seasons because if you tried to defend, you were going to get run over by V-Trigger and get killed. As the seasons went on to the current iteration we're at now, the balance of offense and defense started skewing a bit back towards defense. And now in Street Fighter 5, the final season 5, it's about as good as it's going to get for Street Fighter 5. I still think it's a little rewards offense, but it's the best it's ever been in this specific game. But adding mechanics like this, it gives me a good idea if they want to go forward with this kind of stuff in Street Fighter 6. This can actually reward passivity. You yourself get to chill and hang back, but, you know, it encourages the enemy to definitely rush at you for sure. But it kind of creates an atmosphere of you don't have to go forward if you don't want to. Which I feel for Street Fighter, if you're ahead on resources, ahead on life, is exactly how it should be. So maybe I'm reading too much on this, on the Luke thing, but once again, Luke is the herald one way or the other. We really don't know how, right? But Luke is the herald of Street Fighter 6. So if anything's going to give us a hint on how Street Fighter 6 might be going gameplay-wise, this right here is it. So call me crazy, call me madman, whatever you want to say. Maybe you agree. I don't know, right? Post in the comments below because I sincerely would like to know what you guys think on this matter. Is Luke the sign of the times when it comes to Street Fighter 6? I guess we don't have too much longer to wait, as Capcom Cup is only a few months away, and while certainly Street Fighter 6 won't be launching in February, but it might be launching at the tail end of 2022, so in the cosmic sense, it's not too far away anymore. Anyways, my friends, I guess that's it for me. So in the end, thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Street Fighter.